everybody, welcome to Hoops Wire Live on 330 to go. It's time for another Friday afternoon show. I'm out of rhyme, so we're just going to have to grind through this with me talking normally. The Cavaliers are back in action Friday night. They looked something much more like the Cavaliers on, I guess it was Wednesday night. At home, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't even remember who they beat. But I know they crushed them. Yeah, gosh. Who was it? It wasn't the Hawks. That was Sunday. And I do know Wednesday night that Darius Garland returned, and the Cavs looked a lot more like themselves offensively. The ball moved more. The offense wasn't nearly as clunky, and those are the things that Darius Garland brings.
Sixers.
The Philadelphia 76ers without Joel Embiid. Now I remember. Thank you, Steve. You know, when you've covered 80% of the home games for about 20 years now, they all seem to mesh together. So very rarely do I remember who the opponent is the night after they played because I've moved on to the next post. But the Sixers came in playing pretty well. Obviously, they were 5-1 at the start of the week. Now they're 5-3. They lost to Chicago the night before they came in. Cleveland blew a 24-point lead in Chicago. Second half, I had the game on a little bit, and I turned it because I'm like, well, the Sixers are blowing them out. Next thing I know, the Bulls won. So the Bulls, of course, 6-1, leading the Eastern Conference. A team that most of us had pegged to not make the playoffs. I still kind of have them pegged to not make the playoffs, but I think that when you get hot like this early in the season, it creates a system of belief, as we saw last year with the Cavs. So the Bulls come to town. Cavs, if you're watching this live, Friday night, go to Washington and play the hapless Wizards, and then return home Saturday to play the Eastern Conference leading Chicago Bulls. I never thought at any point this year I would say that, but after 7 games, that's where we are. But mostly with the Cavs the other night, Darius Garland back. Donovan Mitchell, 46 points, 10 of 10 from the line, 15 of 21 from the field. Donovan Mitchell's shooting about 58% from the floor this year so far. He's played 6 games. He sat 1 out. But that stat line, and I have this on hoopswire.com, that stat line that Donovan Mitchell put together the other night with, I guess, 15 of 21. What is that percentage-wise, Steve? You should be on top of this. Is that like 15 of 21 shooting is probably whatever that percentage is. He went 10 of 10 from the line and scored 46 points. And the only time anyone has done those things, shot that high of a percentage, 71. They're like 71% from the field, right? So the only time somebody shot, and the NBA released this, the only time somebody shot 71% from the field, went 10 of 10 from the line, and scored 45 or more points in NBA history happened one other time. And that was Michael Jordan back almost 30 years ago. So Donovan Mitchell's really, really in a groove. And the way he's playing now, I liked what I saw that game because he had 46 points, but it felt like he had 26 because there were so many other guys involved. And that's what Darius Garland brings. You know, people complain about his defense or some of these other intangibles, but just being on the floor for 20 some minutes really got the Cavs offense moving in the right direction very quickly. It was very evident. And I thought he did a nice job defensively on VJ Edgecombe, the Sixers rookie who came in averaging 20 points a game. Darius Garland defended him for at least half of the game, and he was 3 of 14 from the field for like 8 points or something. So I thought that the Cavs did a good job on him. They did a good job on Tyrese Maxey, who, like Darius Garland, gets to wherever he wants on the floor. So that was a good sign. Obviously, early season, so long to go, and things that the Cavs still need to work on. Frankly, rebounding has not been their strong suit, and it drives Kenny Atkinson nuts because you have Jared Allen, you have Evan Mobley. Now when DeAndre Hunter missed the game the other night because he was sick, he's playing tonight. That front line should never be out rebounded. They've been out rebounded in all but one game. That's, this is a habit that can't continue in April and May because, all things being equal, when you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, or if you get past that, the NBA Finals, out of the second round, if you're even with the other team talent-wise, it's going to come down to the intangibles. Who does those better? Rebounding is the biggest of the intangibles. Other than, I wouldn't call defense an intangible because it's so vital, but rebounding is a huge thing that's overlooked. Getting to loose balls, as Mike Brown used to love to say, the 50-50 balls that could go either way. You got to win that battle. You got to keep the opponent from getting second, third shots, especially in the playoffs, because those are backbreakers. When you give up a second or third rebound, it's going to happen sometimes. Teams are going to get offensive rebounds, but it can't be 50% of the time. It really shouldn't even be 25% of the time. So Cavs need to do a better job of that. They're not going to have any issues scoring. If Darius Garland stays on the floor, they're going to score a lot of points. They didn't have DeAndre Hunter the other night. Lonzo Ball was 0 of 3, I think, from the field. And they still scored 132 points. So that was the same thing last year. They never had an issue putting a ball in the basket. People are saying, Evan Mobley has to, take this next step. And to me, it's like even if Evan Mobley's offense is 15 points, they're still going to end up with 130. You got to think about it. Darius Garland only scored 8 points the other night. So, it's never going to be an issue as long as they're healthy. And Jalen Tyson has contributed offensively now. Really like what I see from him. Didn't care for what I saw from him in the preseason, but he's been very, very good. He's been an upgrade in very small sample size, seven games, but he's been an upgrade over Isaac Okoro, who has not done anything offensively at all in Chicago. So, I think the Cavs felt comfortable trading Okoro for Lonzo Ball because Jalen Tyson they felt like was ready to take those minutes, and he's been more than ready. Not only is he scoring, he's done a nice job defensively, and he plays incredibly hard. And he's one of the guys who will go in there and get offensive rebounds. Just a high energy guy who can score. So really like what you've seen from him. You almost got to consider Jalen Tyson a rookie because, he played spot duty last year. This year he started just about every game. So that's the latest on them. Dean Wade got poked in the eye 38 seconds in the game the other night. Came out. The eye looks like, according to people around the team, I have not seen his eye, but it looks like he was hit by a boxer or an MMA or Sam Amico or any other tough that walks the city at night. But he's out tonight. He's day-to-day. Dean Wade out. Lonzo Ball will also sit out too for load management purposes. Other than that, Max Strus still out. We're going to be saying that for a little bit. Everybody else is good to go. The Wizards stink. So, this is a game the Cavs should win. Washington, of course, we have two Northeast Ohio guys running teams. Daryl Morey from Medina Highland, who's the general manager, head of basketball operations for the Philadelphia 76ers, and Michael Granger from Cleveland. I think he's a Benedictine grad, though. Don't quote me on that. Somewhere up there. Or maybe it was Glenville. Either way, he's running the Washington Wizards, and they're bad by design almost. You know, they've got a lot of young guys. They do have another Northeast Ohio product. I guess Canton's Northeast Ohio, right? CJ McCollum, who's their starting shooting guard. He's one of the elder statesmen on the team, from Canton Glen Oak, of course. Probably the only NBA player. You know, we've had a couple of NBA local guys who went to the NBA by very rare paths. CJ McCollum went to Canton Glen Oak. Then he went to Lehigh. Played college basketball at Lehigh. And I think he's one of like 3 NBA players ever who went to Lehigh. And you know what he majored in? Journalism. He wanted to be, and not necessarily broadcast. He wanted to be a sports writer. CJ McCollum has actually written some stories for Sports Illustrated in the past. So, CJ, when you're done, there's a job waiting for you at hoopswire.com, and probably 330 to go. Although I can't guarantee I'll still be here by the time you retire. They may have wised up and gotten rid of me by then. So CJ McCollum, Washington Wizards, probably their biggest threat. Definitely, other than Chris Middleton, their oldest guy, Chris Middleton, is out tonight for Washington. Not sure what the injury is. So it'll be up to CJ McCollum and the young guns to try to pull off the upset over the Cavs. And these are dangerous games, right? Trap games. I've asked Kenny Atkinson about teams like Washington. He said it's a coach's biggest fear because you have Washington, who's, you know, at the bottom of the standings. Oh, look, Steve pulled up my stat. I read that stat, by the way, to Mark Price, and he said, yeah, well, they're not winning 50 again this year. So he's probably very right about that. Haven't won 50 games since 78, 79, which coincidentally is the last time Washington was in the NBA Finals. They went 78 and won it in 78. Then they went to 79 and lost in 1978 when they went to the finals. They didn't even win 50 games that year. I think they were 48 and 34. Which, again, if you wanted another example, there's an example in every show that I do here that screams, boy, that guy doesn't get out enough. And this Washington Wizards stat is among them. So anyway, the Cavs, you know, Kenny Atkinson has said these trap games are terrifying for a coach because you're playing the bottom feeding Washington Wizards. They've been bad for years. You know, you're going there and you have a game in their building. There's not much buzz in Washington surrounding this team. People like the Capitals, the hockey team, more obviously the Commanders, the football team. So the Wizards have always kind of been, you know, a distant fourth in the city behind the Commanders, the Nationals, and even the hockey team, the Capitals. So I don't know about the MLS team. Maybe the Wizards get more fans than them. I don't know. But I can tell you I've been in Washington at this arena a few times. And as I told my other sports writing buddy who was not at the game, he said, what's that arena like? And I said, well, I think the rats outnumber the fans. So that's kind of what that arena is like. But regardless, after that, the Cavs, you know, you have the Bulls the next night. You've got to hop on a plane immediately after the game. You got like 45 minutes and you get on their plane, you fly back home, and then you face the Chicago Bulls, who I do not know if they're playing tonight, but all of this is beside the point because it's just obviously very early in the regular season. But this is a good kind of test, these early season tests of, you know, how resilient are we? How are we going to go into Washington and put these guys away fast? or, are we going to have to, you don't want a long drawn out game because then, you got another one in 24 hours. So, these are good places to work on your rebounding in Washington as well. So, it's the NBA though. It's the NBA. Anytime you're playing against NBA players, you got to bring it. And Cavs seem to know that. That's the good thing about having this core together and this group together. I frankly am interested to see DeAndre Hunter finally next to, in the starting lineup, Garland, Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley. Finally, for the first time, I'm assuming anyway, at this moment, they're all scheduled to start. So I'll be interested to see. They have so much firepower. That's nothing against Max Strus, but and Max Strus, everybody loves him. He plays super hard. He can score a lot. Hunter's a different type of player, a little more size, little more size defensively, probably a little bit of a better rebounder, and more of a mid-range guy than Max Strus. But I think it would be interesting to see Hunter alongside the core four. And will that remain, is this group going to play well enough that when Max Strus comes back, that he's coming off the bench? I don't know. I'm sure the Cavs haven't made that decision yet. But here we are with the starting five, and this was expected because of the Strus injury. This was the expected starting five going into the year. So Cavs have a Washington Friday, Bulls Saturday. Then I believe we're all going to take a break from the NBA on Sunday because we have a AFC championship game preview between the 1-7 New York Jets and whatever the Browns are now, 2-6 or something. Yeah, don't bother me. Now I just watch that. Don't bother me. I used to be, the saying was don't bother me during Browns games because I was agitated. Now it's because I don't want to be interrupted during comedy hour. I mean, my buddy comes over, watches the game. We literally just sit there and poke fun at him. Not necessarily the players, but just the whole ordeal, the whole culture. There was a long time where fans would come up to me and say, "Boy, it'd be nice if Dan Gilbert bought the Browns." And I would say, yeah, kind of brush it off. But I'm like, gosh, I just recently thought that, wouldn't it be awesome if he owned the team? I mean, he's shown that he's been able to overcome with his spending and putting the right people in place and leaving them be. It took him a little while. But with Kobe Altman and Kenny Atkinson and Mike Gansey, who, by the way, is from Olmsted Falls, the Cavs assistant GM, and was part of an amazing run at the University of West Virginia. West Virginia University, WVU. Part of an amazing run there under former Cavs coach John Beilein, Mike Gansey. So a lot of ties, Northeast Ohio ties going into this Cavs game tonight. Not only do you have a team from Cleveland, but you have CJ McCollum, Michael Winger, the Wizards GM or head of basketball operations, and someone else in there. I forgot already. But Larry Nance Jr., of course. And your least favorite NBA writer will be watching the game. So there's some ties there. As far as the Cavs go, look, the thing I want to see, the thing that everybody's complaining about, and the thing that they deserve some criticism for is you got to get rebounds. Jim Jones and I were talking about this, the former Cavaliers great who was a fantastic rebounder in his day and is now the radio analyst next to Tim Alcorn for the Cavs radio network. Jim Jones said, Defense doesn't end when the shot goes up. That's when it's kind of, that's just part of it. You have to go get the ball, and they have to do a better job of that. And, Jared Allen is usually pretty good at that. Evan Mobley, up and down when it comes to rebounding. Elite defender, elite at protecting the basket, defensive player of the year. But you got to get more defensive rebounds if you're Evan Mobley. All of those guys. And it's not just the bigs. It's, the guards got to put bodies on people too. Sometimes it's dumb luck. Sometimes the ball bounces out after a long shot and it goes right to them. You can live with that. What you can't live with is when the ball's like bouncing around the basket and somebody comes in, after the opponent has taken a shot and comes in and gets the offensive rebound. Once, twice a game, okay. 10, 8 times a game, not okay. So they know that. Kenny Atkinson has said that. And, the point of this season, this early, is to see what you're not doing well and to really focus on it and working on it while not losing sight of the things that you are doing well. So that's the Cavaliers element of the show. I do have some guests lined up, but until they actually sit here, I'm not going to announce them because some of our good friends will say, oh yeah, I can do it. And then the night before, which, you know what? I don't blame them because I get radio requests and I've done that in the past. So it's all catching up with me now, as I suspected. The other thing is Full Court Cleveland with Booby Gibson and Rafa Hernandez-Brito is airing now on FanDuel Sports Network. You will not see me on the show this week. But it's still a good show, believe it or not. I watched it and I'm like, wow, these guys aren't bad without me. Shockingly enough. They're lacking, striking good looks and boyish charm. But other than that, the show is about the same. They actually tape the show at 8:30 in the morning, which we tape it at Burke Lakefront Airport. And I was like, yeah, I'm not, you won't. We usually tape the show at noon. And I said, guys, if you need to learn something about me and you're going to learn it this week, since you decided to tape it at 8:30 a.m., if I need to be somewhere before noon, I'm going to be late. That's just, I know it's not going to change now. It's been this way my entire existence. So, except for school, I usually made it right when the first bell was going off at 8:15. But that's only because I had parents like dragging me out of the bed. Now, half people don't even realize I'm alive. Oh, you know what? Dad's still around. Go get him up. So I did not go to the show this week. I didn't feel bad because Booby and Roth, as I pointed out many times, have missed 2 or 3 apiece at least. And they were, I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to sit this one out, guys. And Roth was like, I get it. I live 3 minutes away. I would not be driving 45 minutes to get here at 8:30, probably an hour. So Roth understood. I saw the show at the beginning of the show. Booby Gibson told everybody I was out partying, which I actually liked because I thought, you know what? Now people think finally, for once, they'll think I'm cool, or at least an idiot. Wait, maybe they think that already. Anyway, Full Court Cleveland this week, hoopswire.com. We have got like 12, 15 posts on there. Not brand new, but there goes Steve's timer, which means I'm way past my time. He sets that off like for 10 minutes after he wants me off of here. But hoopswire.com, we got all kinds of coverage on there. We keep updating it throughout the day. I'll have Cavs stuff on after the game tonight and moving forward as well. So with that in mind, a lot of basketball to be played. There are 75 games remaining. We've already had 2 shows in this season, and they've only played 7. So imagine how many more shows we still have left all the way till June, because we all know the Cavs are getting to the final. So enjoy this rainy day. And I think that we probably deserve this weather a little bit because we've had it so nice. But, welcome to November in the 330 to go. So with that in mind, thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you next week.